one thing I kind of hate a little bit about Colorado so far is that everything around this month closed early on Sundays. Alright, it's poppin' guys, your boy Big Bro Dre, and I'm back with another one for you guys, man. In today's video, I'm gonna give you the top 10 best duty stations in the United States Army. Alright, so this is my third time trying to shoot this video. The first time I had a script, it didn't feel right, so I figured I would just go for my experiences, the stuff that I know about these places, the places that I have been. I'm gonna go with stuff that I know about those places and the things I can tell you about them, and the places I haven't been, I'll go with experience and stuff that I've talked to other soldiers about, so you guys can get a good basis of where you want to go. This is probably maybe the third or fourth question that I get in my emails about when somebody's joining the military or the Army specific, of where they want to go and what their first duty station should be. And I'm glad you guys asked this before you sign your contracts and before you go in the recruiter's office and just say send me anywhere like I did. From experience, my first duty station was Fort Sill, Oklahoma. I was a field artilleryman, and honestly, I wouldn't recommend that being anyone's first duty station if they can avoid it. It was not one of my favorite duty stations. It wasn't the worst, but it did not make this top 10 list. So without further ado, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get to the list. Hey, I appreciate you guys' support. If this is your first time at my channel, I said I'm Big Bro Dre, and I do military content. I have a podcast, so hey, just check out some of the other videos. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get to number 10. Number 10 is going to be Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Welcome to Fort Campbell, a world-class military community that offers the best soldier and family experience. Fort Campbell lies on the border of Kentucky and Tennessee, between the towns of Clarksville, Tennessee and Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Or Fort Campbell, Tennessee, whichever one you choose, because this place sits on the border of Clarksville, Tennessee and Oak Grove, Kentucky. All right, so what can I say about Fort Campbell? Fort Campbell is a great place to raise a family. It's super safe. We didn't have to worry about, I didn't worry about any violence. My daughter went to school there. It was just a nice place to raise a family, raise a child. So if you have children, not a bad place to live. If you're like into outdoor hunting, fishing, stuff like that, you can do those things out there. The unit diversity is where it wins at, because the 101st is there, but there are also other tenant units. Like when I was there, I was in 52nd Ordnance Group, and it was a tenant company at Fort Campbell. Probably one of the best units I ever been in my entirety of my career. The weather in the summertime is a little weird. It's hot and muggy, like most of the South. In the wintertime, it gets cold, but the snow is minimal. When I was there, it might have snowed maybe 2 months, and it stuck maybe 1. So I don't think it was that bad. Now, with all this global warming stuff going on, it might be a little bit different than it used to be. So take that into account before you go there. One thing I can say is, if you are planning to go to Fort Campbell, they may ask you to go air assault, because Fort Campbell is the home of the air assault. It's not mandatory, but it's highly recommended. So take that into account. The class ain't that hard. You can do it. So you just go there, you get there and get through it. Excuse me. And then it'll be cool. But yeah, Fort Campbell is on my list as my top, as number 10. If I think about something else in the rest of the video, I'll bring it up on one of the other numbers. Let's get to number 9. Number 9 is where I currently am, Fort Carson, Colorado. So Fort Carson, Colorado, I've been stationed here before, and from 2007 to 2009, and this is an amazing place. Now, let's talk about the weather. Global warming. I don't know what's going on, but this year we're receiving a lot of hail. And when I was here the first time, I don't remember it hailing as much as it has. Just yesterday, I was about to shoot this video and it started hailing yesterday. And I was going to say how beautiful it was outside, but it went from looking like sunny Tampa, Florida, California, Venice Beach, to looking like Kansas during that movie Twister. So take that into account when you move here. If you move in a place that doesn't have an air conditioner, 10 years ago, I would have recommended it. But now, because of the weather changes, I wouldn't recommend it. A lot of places in Colorado are like that because the weather wasn't always the way it is. It used to be a consistent 75 for most of the summer, and now it's closer to 95 for the majority of the summer. And that's just for me being here for about a month, almost 2 months. So make sure you think about that before you move here. As far as the units and the type of units you probably gonna end up in, of course, 405D is the big unit here. There are tenant units. There are several units that you could end up in, but 405D is probably the most likely one you're gonna end up in. They have pretty good units. I'm just settling in. When I was here, I was in a tenant unit before I was in First ID when we moved here. So I can't talk about what it's like to be in 405D because I ain't been there long enough. But what I can say is there is a lot to do. As far as location, you have Denver about an hour away. You have some of the smaller towns like Pueblo, Trinidad. The big issue I would see young soldiers getting into here is that marijuana is legal to everybody else but your ass. So please don't think you can smoke weed in Colorado because it's legal. It's not federal, it's state legal. So until it's federal and they allow that, you're not able to smoke marijuana. So please do not smoke marijuana if you are a United States soldier, Air Force man, or naval man. All right, naval seaman, I think that's what they call them. All right, so number 10 is Fort Carson, Colorado. Number 9, and a lot of you guys are going to dispute, number 8. Number 8, and a lot of you guys are going to dispute me on this because you've been stationed here and you hated it. But this is not one of the worst places to be, and that would be Fort Stewart, Hunter Army Airfield. So I'm from the city of Savannah. I wasn't born there, but I was raised there, right? So, and that area is beautiful. Number 1, it's a nice place to live. The crime is getting a little worse than it used to be. If you're at Fort Stewart, you'll be in Hinesville. Most of the crime comes from soldiers or former soldiers. If you're in Savannah, you'll be at Hunter Army Airfield, which they're about 30-45 minutes apart from one another. So I just lumped them in there together. But it's a nice place to live. The reason this made my list though is because of location. So if you're at Hunter or Fort Stewart, then you're about 4 hours away from Atlanta. You're about a little over 3 hours away from Charlotte, North Carolina. You're about 2 hours away from Jacksonville, Florida. You're about, hour and a half from Charleston. I know y'all gonna correct me in the comments, but I think one of the cons of living down there is probably the weather. It's hot as hell in Georgia during the summertime, and the weather in the wintertime is not as bad. It doesn't snow. I didn't experience a lot of snow. I think it might have snowed maybe 2 or 3 times there when I was a kid. They do get real bad hurricanes too, so you got to think about that when you're taking into account getting stationed in Hunter and Savannah. With that said, there are a lot of opportunities for unit diversity because the majority of the 3rd ID is the main thing there, and their aviation element is in Savannah. The rest of them are in Fort Stewart, Hunter. So it kind of works out good because you had a diversity to kind of switch between the two. Like if you're stationed at Hunter and you don't like it there, you can go to Fort Stewart and vice versa, depending on your MOS. If your job allows you to do that, then you should be able to get diverse. Like some of my statements are biased about your diversity because I do logistics. I'm a 920 Alpha. I do logistics, so I can move around from place to place, and it's a little bit easier than some other MOSs may have trouble finding somewhere to stay or somewhere to be, depending on where they are. So Fort Stewart, Hunter Army Airfield is my number 8. And if I could think of anything else to say about that, then I would. Oh yeah. One more thing. I like beaches, and they have beaches there. So Tybee Island ain't the best beach, but the location and proximity you are to other beaches makes it a great place to live. And people just like Savannah for some reason. They love going to live down there. They like going to visit. The tourists are making the houses crazy expensive in that whole Hinesville, Savannah, Richmond Hill area. So, but it's a nice place to be. The shitty part, you might get deployed from there because it's one of the leading fighting forces in the Army, so that sucks. But other than that, it's actually a pretty good place to be. All right, number 7 on my list is in the Potomac.
Oh,
Real Housewives of Potomac. That's what I think of when I think of this thing. It's in the Potomac area of the United States, which is Fort George G. Meade, and it is actually in the city of Severn, Maryland. I visited Fort George G. Meade, I think, twice. It's a nice small base. The reason that this is on my list is again location. It's very, very close to Washington D.C. It's probably the most likely place you will be stationed if you're an incoming soldier, because it's not that many incoming soldiers that get to go to the Pentagon or Langley. Some of them get to go to Eustis, but those are about an hour and a half from inner city DC. You want to go to Baltimore, which who the hell wants to go to Baltimore, but it's nearby. It's just a nice place. As far as the weather, you guys know how it gets up north, so it's cold up there, man. Wintertime is gonna snow, but as far as units go, this place doesn't have that much unit diversity. I would say the majority of the people there are medical and human resources, and some of them are military police. So I wouldn't say that diversity is one of the big things you're gonna find at George G. Meade. But what you will find is a nice community. You're gonna be close to, if you're closer to retirement, this is a good place to be, because you're gonna be close to the government hub for retirees. So different jobs and veterans benefits and stuff, you're gonna be close. They have a nice VA hospital up there in the area somewhere. So George G. Meade made my list, man. It's number 7 on the list. Right, number 6 on the list is the home of training, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. So most of you guys know Fort Jackson, South Carolina, because the majority of you watching this video went to basic training there. All right, so this is probably where they do the most basic training. I would go as far as to say that 80% of the people that are there are not stationed there. Most of them are trainees coming in and leaving out, which makes it a great place to live. You're in a training doctrine environment, also known as TRADOC. It's the weather's great. It's hot and muggy down there in the summertime, but you got beaches nearby. You got Myrtle Beach down there. You got Charleston, which has Folly Beach and Mount Pleasant. Savannah's near there. You can drive to Atlanta's close to there. So you have your options on where you want to travel and stuff you want to see and stuff you want to do. Nice, beautiful place. In recent years, it's gotten a little more expensive to live down there. But when I lived down there, and the last time I went down there was not too long ago, probably about maybe a month ago or so. But the gas prices are phenomenal in that area. I think South Carolina has the cheapest gas in the country, which transitions to other places. So like houses are cheaper down there. Food's about the same. You go out, they have different places you can go out. Like there's a comedy club down there that's real famous. I forgot the name of it. Don't make me lie to you. But yeah, Fort Jackson's a great place to live. You got so many opportunities for traveling along the East Coast. And I might seem a little East Coast biased because it's just probably one of the best places. It's the hub of everything. Like DC, Atlanta, Miami is all on the East Coast. So anytime you're thinking about traveling, it's going to be East Coast. The only duty station on the West Coast that's near those things is Fort Irwin, and nobody wants to go there. That place is in the middle of nowhere and did not make this list. So Fort Jackson is that number 6. If y'all have any more comments to make, throw them in the comments, ask the questions, and I'll answer them about any of these places. All right. Number 5 is Joint Base Langley, Eustis. So Fort Eustis is in Virginia Beach, near Virginia Beach. It's Newport News, I think is the area. Excuse me, I got gas, man. I've been eating that damn pre-workout. So Joint Base Langley, Eustis. Location. You're near Virginia Beach. You're near DC. You're near the new Fort Lee. I think it's called Fort Liberty now. You're near almost anything you could think of up north. You're there. If you want to go to New York or the tri-state area, you aren't very far. You're about a 5-6 hour drive. I would have put Fort Detrick on this list because it's in New Jersey, but I'm honestly, nobody wants to live there. Unless you're from that area and you just stuck on being home, you don't want to live there. So, but Fort Eustis, Langley is a good place. Or Joint Base Langley is a joint base. It's the Navy and the Army are both there, so you're gonna have a good time there. and enjoy that area. I liked it when I was out there. I was stationed at Fort Lee, Fort Liberty, or whatever it's called now. Y'all correct me and let me know what it is. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just don't know, and I ain't did the research before I shot this video. So yeah, it's a nice place to live. It made my list. All right, number 4 is Korea/Japan all. I put these two together because there are too many bases in those areas to name all at once. What can I say about those places? Korea, both Japan, Korea are great places to be stationed. I spent almost 4 years of my life in those countries, and both are Korea is amazing. That's where I spent the most time, and I only went to Japan like twice. But Korea is amazing. I spent a lot of time there. The thing why this made the list is safety. I probably never felt so safe in my entire life. The food is good there. The culture is good there. The way soldiers are treated there, depends on where you are. It's great. I mean, honestly, it's not too much bad I can say about Korea, other than that you probably gonna go to the field a lot. You're gonna train a lot. That's the real army. I mean, that's our job, so that's what we got to do. But as far as just enjoying the time that you're spending there and enjoying the country and seeing different cultures and seeing how different cultures are, you're gonna love Korea. So if you ever get a chance to get stationed there, go ahead and check it out. You can do 1 year, or you can do the 2 years, 3 years if you're able to take your family. Not all units allow command sponsorship. Not all places have command sponsorship, but if you are able to take your family, I would say take them if they're ready to dedicate the 2 or 3 years that over there that you would try to do. But the minimum you can do is a year. You go do your year, enjoy your year, you come back. If you like it, you can stay. If not, then you can leave and come back. So yeah, Korea's a good place to be stationed. I can't talk too much bad about Korea other than don't get in no trouble over there, because if you get in trouble over there, then you're gonna be stuck over there, and that's not what you want. So let's get to number 3. Number 3 is Italy all. So I don't have much experience with Italy, but everything I have heard about Italy is amazing. So I had a friend that went. He said he enjoyed it. A couple things you might want to know about Italy before you go is that you should be airborne qualified before you go, because a lot of those units over there require you to be airborne. But with that said, I don't think you have to be. If you get an opportunity to go to Italy, do not turn it down, because you ain't gonna get a whole lot of opportunities to go over there. So if you get a chance to go and they trying to send you, then that's the spot you want to be in. All right, that's real quick, because I ain't never been there. I don't know much about it, but I heard it was amazing. Read some stuff about it, and I heard it made my list number 3 because I heard it was amazing. So Germany all is number 2 on my list, and it's because that place is amazing and it is shutting down. So not a lot of people are going to get to go there in the next probably 10 years, because a lot of the bases, as you can see, and this is not Operation Security, I seen it on the news, they're shutting down a lot of the bases. You can read it in Army Times yourself if you want to, but yeah, a lot of stuff is getting shut down. But it's an amazing place to be stationed. When you think of Germany, you shouldn't think of like the old World War II Nazi stuff. That's long gone. That place is the food is good over there. The shopping's good over there. The culture is great over there. You can travel to different countries. Location is another reason I put this on the list. You can go to France. You can go to Belgium. You can go to Switzerland. You can go to, what's that other place that everybody like to go to? Well, Lizzo got caught up at Amsterdam. You can go over there to some of those. There's so many opportunities for travel out there that I'd be remiss if I left Germany off my list in any capacity. But yeah, it's just a nice place to get stationed. The training part might be a little iffy depending on what unit you got to go to, but as far as actually being stationed, it's actually a wonderful place. All right, so number 2 is Germany. All right, number 1 on my list, and I'm probably gonna get killed behind this, but it is Fort Sam Houston, our joint base, San Antonio. Right, so I put those together because they're in the same vicinity. The reason this is number 1 on my list is because Texas has everything. Location. Texas is a hub to the east and it's a hub to the west. that area, Sam Houston is dedicated to the medical profession as far as units go. But as far as you actually being stationed somewhere where you're able to travel, Texas is so big it could be its own country. So you're definitely gonna have as many opportunities to travel in Texas and outside of Texas as you would anywhere else. Sam Houston is an amazing place. San Antonio is an amazing city. I'm actually thinking about retiring down there. So number one is Sam Houston on my list. Okay, a couple honorable mentions because I couldn't put everything in the top 10 list is Alaska, which is Fort Wainwright and Richardson, and Redstone Arsenal in Alabama. Those are two nice places you want to get stationed. The places you probably don't want to go, if you could try to avoid them, honestly, and we don't always get to choose where we go. So watch this video with caution because you're not gonna get a choice most of the time. But if you are offered the choice, then the top 10 I pick those. But if you're not, and they give you stuff and you can avoid them, try to avoid Fort Drum, try to avoid Fort Leonard Wood, try to avoid Fort. What's that other place, man? Sheesh, I can't. Fort Rucker. They changed the name. It's something else now. But try to avoid it at all costs, man. There's those couple places you just don't want to go. The other one down there in Louisiana is a crappy one too, and I can't remember the name for the life of me of it. But yeah, those are my top 10. I appreciate you guys watching the video. Excuse the edits. I'm not gonna edit every video I do. Sometimes I don't feel like editing the death out of a video, but this is just a question that I probably get asked a whole lot from newer guys and ladies coming into the Army. They kind of want to know what duty stations they want to pick because they're getting more options than we did when we came in to pick your duty station. So y'all can start with that list, sift through that list. If you get something on that list, I'm telling you, take me up on that offer and go ahead and go to that duty station and experience life. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.